October 2013. The 3DS had been out for a while, and to be honest, I didn't really care. I was pretty content with my DS and the games on there. But once I heard that they were making a 3D Pokemon game, my little 10-year-old head went after saving up a bunch of money and working hard and begging my dad. I finally went and got my 3DS. And then my sister tagged along and just got one without any hassle. That sucks. Actually, now that I think about it, that happened with our DSs too. This is some bullshit. I remember when we went to the GameStop to pick up our 3DSs, the GameStop employees were really adamant on us getting 2DSs. But because we were stubborn little kids, we wanted that 3D action. We both got 3DS XLs. I got Pokemon Y with mine, and my sister got Animal Crossing, which was after I told her that she would probably like it, which was just my way of getting two games that I wanted, which may be evil, but she did end up enjoying the game, so you know what, this is a win-win scenario. The 3DS ended up being one of my favorite consoles of all time, and with its legacy ending this year, I thought it's due time to talk about the 3DS and its legacy. We're gonna look back at all the fantastic and fun and not incredible games that were on this thing. The 3DS released in February of 2011 to a resounding meh. Yeah, the 3DS launch lineup wasn't spectacular. None of the games felt like something that you'd really want to play. It was more like, I just bought a new console, so I need something to play. Pilot Wings, Steel Diver, Nintendogs. None of these games are all that exciting. The third-party offerings weren't much better, just mostly ports of old games, but now with 3D. Speaking of 3D, I guess we should talk about that. The 3D on the original 3DS was fine. You had to look head-on at it, otherwise it wouldn't work, but for 3D without glasses, it was neat. Now that I think about it, there were a bunch of features on 3DS which weren't used all that often. Anybody remember AR cards? They're like the one thing you still get with 3DSs. A charger? No, of course not. You have to go buy that yourself. But the AR cards, well, you can't live without your AR cards. You gotta have them. You'd aim the camera at the little card, and then a tiny 3D model of whatever character was on the card would pop up. There were also some mini-games, which, to be honest, were more fun than some of the launch games. I kinda wish they made more of these. The only games of note that came with more cards were Kid Icarus and Kingdom Hearts. I think what would have been really cool is if they started packaging one card with every amiibo. So if you got a Kirby amiibo, you'd get a Kirby card, or a Link card with a Link amiibo. Then there was a camera and Nintendo Video and Face Raiders, but you know what, we're not gonna get into it because that stuff is boring! Dinosaur Office will forever live on in our hearts though. After the lackluster start, however, we got a bunch of fantastic titles. We certainly got some great first-party titles as to be expected. There was Pokemon and Animal Crossing like I had mentioned earlier, but also Zelda, Kirby, Mario, Donkey Kong. Series that had been dormant for a while came back on the 3DS as well, like Metroid and Kid Icarus, and even Pikmin. The third-party scene was strong as well. Shin Megami Tensei, Bravely Default, Monster Hunter, Kingdom Hearts, along with many others, had entries on the 3DS. It's funny to think that a not very powerful portable console got more third-party support than their home console. I guess it makes sense though, there were plenty more people who owned 3DSs than Wii U's. Like I just said though, the 3DS was not very powerful. Near the end of its life cycle, games were just getting too big to run properly on it. Even in Pokemon, the staple of the 3DS and DS library, it was getting a little bit choppy. We started seeing less and less developers use the 3D functionality, simply because it would just make the game slow to a crawl. Seeing all these issues, Nintendo decided in February of 2015 to release the new 3DS. The new 3DS is a console revision of the 3DS, which had the same functionality of the regular 3DS and some improved stuff. The 3D was improved so you could view it from different angles, download times were shortened, and of course, it was more powerful, so older 3DS games ran better. There's also the inclusion of the C-Stick, or C-Nub? Yeah, this thing wasn't super comfortable, but it got the job done most of the time, and they added it without having to do any radical design changes. With this new power and the new stick, there were a bunch of games made exclusively for the new 3DS. And by a bunch, I mean like 2, which are of any worth, and then the rest of them. There was Fire Emblem Warriors, Binding of Isaac, Minecraft, and Xenoblade Chronicles 3D. This is a fine set of games, but when you're trying to market a new 3DS, you want to have something on there that's really attention-grabbing, and no offense, I don't think Fire Emblem Warriors was turning too many heads. That's not all, however. There was also the SNES games exclusively for new 3DS owners, and wow, that feels kinda scummy. Like, I get that Nintendo wants to have exclusives on their shiny new device, but there's no reason why SNES games can't run on the regular 3DS. If you want exclusives for your hardware, make games that feel like they should be exclusives. For instance, I understand why Xenoblade Chronicles was exclusive to the new 3DS. It's because if you tried running it on a regular 3DS, it would melt. Anyways, the new 3DS wasn't the only revision the 3DS would get, because there was also the 2DS and new 2DS XL. The 2DS was the budget alternative to the 3DS, and by budget, I mean budget. You can pick up one of these bad boys with a game for $80. That is an absolute steal. Obviously you don't get the same foldability, and you can't use the 3D, but other than that it's pretty solid. It runs the same as a regular 3DS, and the new form factor is actually really comfortable. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it over the other revisions, but if you're super strapped for cash, this wouldn't be a bad choice. The new 2DS XL was the last revision in the 3DS's life cycle, and it's basically the same as a new 3DS XL without the 3D. It's the same size, same power, it's just a little cheaper due to not having the 3D. Out of all the 3DS's though, this one has gotta be the best looking. It's mostly black all around with that blue trim, just that shit is fire. The 3DS looked like a little kid's toy, and this looks like a sleek piece of tech. And don't even get me started on those special editions though. The 3DS got some decent ones, but they don't even come close to how good the new 2DS looks. I think my favorite has got to be this Pokeball one, but they also have this Zelda one which looks really nice, and just goddamn, man. Speaking of favorites, now's the part where I gotta talk about my favorite experiences with the 3DS. I used to play a lot of indies on this thing. It's actually the console that introduced me to indies, and I played a bunch of them. One memory that specifically comes to mind is playing Gunvolt on the bus with my friends. We would take turns switching off every time we died, which would happen a lot because Gunvolt is kinda hard. And then when I broke my finger, I remember playing Shovel Knight a bunch, and whenever we would be driving down to the doctor's office, which was always like an hour-long drive, I'd just be in the back seat, kicking back, playing some Shovel Knight, which I was very bad at because that game is kind of hard. I didn't only play indies though, I poured plenty of hours into Pokemon, Animal Crossing, Phoenix Wright, and Smash Bros. Smash Bros especially. I remember whenever we'd go to the mall and my mom would spend hours and hours inside the dressing room, I'd just be sitting back, playing some good old Smash Brothers with my freaking broken 3DS stick and just having a grand old time. There were plenty of good times with the 3DS, there were plenty of bad times with the 3DS, but it will forever remain one of my favorite consoles, because I had such a good time with this thing. Many laughs, many triumphs, many times. If you don't have a 3DS and you might be planning to get one, which I do actually recommend, because right now with, you know, this thing, this 3DSs are getting cheaper, and if you want my opinion on which 3DS you should get, because there's freaking a billion of them, I would probably go with the new 3DS XL, if you're a collector at least. If you care, or like, if you think like a bunch of years down the line you want to come back to this thing and, you know, have like a nostalgia-filled whatever, I would probably recommend the new 3DS XL, because it still has a 3D, has all the functions, everything that you want. It's basically like the definitive version of a 3DS. However, if you're just looking for something to play right now, you're not really a collector or anything, you're just kind of casually into games, the new 2DS XL is probably what I'd go with, just because it looks a lot cleaner, and you're probably not going to use the 3D as much, because, I don't know, it's like good, but it's still just like a novelty gimmick type thing. So if you don't really care about that, the new 2DS XL is probably the one to go with, just because of how freaking dope it looks. Of course, if you're on a budget though, the regular 2DS is a great option just because of how cheap it is. Already comes with a game preloaded on it. And 3DS games are getting cheaper by the day. You can pick up Majora's Mask the Remake for like 20 bucks right now, which I would recommend. That game's pretty good. But of course, the DS's reign of terror on the portable market is over. Because now we have this bad boy to reign terror on the PS Vita and whatever other handhelds come out. I adore the Switch, but the 3DS will always have a special place in my heart. I'm planning on picking up a new one because, I don't know if you guys can see, it's got like bite marks in it. When I was a little younger, I think one day I left my DS on the couch just sitting there, and we had just gotten our puppy. And I leave the room, I need to like use the bathroom or something, I come back, and my DS is gone, and I look under the couch, and it's under there because she was chewing on it. Okay, I've been rambling on for a little long now. If you want to get a 3DS, probably go with the new 2DS, or new 3DS, or the new 2DS. The 3DS is fantastic, I really like it. Probably gonna end up picking up a bunch of titles that I didn't pick up as a kid, because, you know, I was broke back then, and now I'm not broke. Yeah. But, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you enjoyed, click the like button, subscribe. If you want to see more videos like this, I don't know if you guys noticed, but for like the past 2-ish videos, I've been doing this style with like, you know, cartoon me and whatever. I'm trying to keep that to the consistent style that I want to do now. I know the videos are a little shorter now, but maybe that's better. I'm not sure. I want to see how you guys like it, because the last one did pretty well. So, yeah. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you all later. Peace.